if Twitch works, because in theory it's working, but I don't actually know because I've never done this before. Now I look white on this side, but at least I'm not blue.
Oh, lovely. Let's see how it works now. I'm going to check Twitch.
Jazz is waiting. She said that's fine that I'm running late. Hi, Jazz.
Hi, Jazz.
Hey, Jazz.
First of all, Jazz, I'm sorry I'm not using your nickname as my description. I tried, but Hangouts is being a bitch today, and it won't let me have that nice
saying
setup.
I'm offline on Twitch, but I don't know why.
Oh, it says you're live on Twitch.
Okay, no, it is. It's just being an asshole.
This is week 2.
I am age-gated on Twitch, and that is entirely because you can do whatever the fuck you want on Twitch as long as you have that 18 gate up. Obviously, you know, like, I'm not going to be, like, flashing.
Oh, we're live everywhere.
We are live-a-roo.
Yep.
Woohoo!
Now, if I could find a chat on Twitch, that'd be great, but I don't actually know how Twitch works. And if I open it any wider, which I need to do to be able to find the chat, it'll cover up our stream. So
I think it's kind of sluggish on Twitch.
It might be.
It works well on YouTube, from what I can see, and it's a bit sluggish on Twitch.
Yeah, see, but we're still running through the YouTube. We're still running through the YouTube streamer.
Yeah.
Right. So what we might do next time is actually use just a regular Hangouts chat.
Yeah.
The problem there is that we can't put our we can't use the toolbox functions, which is part of the reason I was like, tonight I'm just going to do it this way. Maybe we'll figure something else out, but I'm going to try to be simultaneously casting on both for the future until I'm comfortable saying that one or the other isn't going to fuck me over. And you know, here's the thing. I'm not worried about money. It's just one of those things where it's like, it looks different to have that status.
It's like we're getting in trouble for something we didn't do.
Yeah, and you like, once you've earned a status, you shouldn't lose that status because they changed their rules. At the very least, they should just, like, grandfather everybody in, you know? And that wouldn't count me, and I understand that, and that's not the issue.
Well, I've been pushed out of the program on the last changes because, you know, because I've talked about this, but I created a YouTube channel and then I took a 3.5-year break, or almost 3 years, something like that. And of course there were no views, but I don't know. I don't know what to think about this. I've been watching a lot of videos on this issue with opinions from people who now have big YouTube channels, and one of them said, I don't remember who anymore because there were just so many videos. One of them said it took like 7 years to get to the first 1,000 subscribers, and now he was a few 100,000. And at that point, everyone was manually reviewed to get into the partnership program, and it took like long months. So it's not exactly new. They made it easier for some time, and then they took it back. And it's fine. They can change things as they want. The problem that I see in this is not that they're taking the ads off. It's that apparently it impacts how visible your video is. Because videos with ads get recommended more because they make the money.
Right.
And the thing is, we can be as mad at YouTube as we want, but I do understand the pressure of trying all these things to make it advertiser friendly, given that they've never turned a profit on YouTube alone. So that's why they don't really have competition, because it's not the easiest business to make a profit on. I mean, there was with me, I tried to get an account there just in case something happens to YouTube at some point, and I got the Vidme account. You know what they did? They shut the whole thing down in December. And sure, there are other places like mine, which is not video, but that's a complete different game. I've got more nasty comments in there in like a few weeks than I've got everywhere on social media in my entire time there. And I started using social media in like 2007 or 2008. So at this point, you know, as long as they give us a fighting chance and they don't don't make us work so hard to get visibility, I'm fine.
Well, see, and I just started 2 more channels, and now I'm like, well, I don't want to bombard my author channel with book reviews and techie stuff, but I'm thinking about combining my review channel with my author channel just for the sake of it being less of a crowded mess that they're causing.
Yeah, I get that. Just by the way, we're still super sluggish on Twitch.
Yeah, there's all kinds of problems with Twitch right now.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't have any audio on Twitch.
Oh.
You guys do. I don't.
Oh,
me.
awesome.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That works great. Then.
And Travis is trying to tell me how to fix it, except what he says to me may as well be in German.
Oh, great.
All right, I'm going to turn my camera off for a minute, and I'll be right back.
Sure, no worries. We can.
You guys go ahead and do your thing. Later. You guys keep talking.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know.
So,
like, I uploaded my video like 2.5 hours ago, the new one. It has exactly 1 view since I uploaded it. I think it's kind of itchy, but maybe, I don't know. I have not been up at this.
No,
time.
yours wasn't fussing very much.
Sorry?
It's nice. So you're talking about your rant? Or Sarah's rant?
No, I was talking about the video I just uploaded tonight on my channel.
Oh, tonight. Sorry.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think I'll just monitor everything to see if they drop views or something. Because that would be a bigger problem than no ads for me.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, ads didn't really affect me at all. I was barely making a cent.
Just 1 second, please, because I'm just getting some weird messages and I have to address that.
All right, I am back.
Oh, welcome back. I'm going to just
So are you getting inappropriate messages?
Where? No, just urgent ones.
Oh. Oh, okay.
I'll be back in a sec.
Okay. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Hopefully the Twitch thing is fixed. I don't know actually how Game Show works because I don't actually use it very often. And
Stop.
So yeah.
Stop. I can't talk and look over here. Sorry. You did one and not the other. My child is over here making like jig noises and like dancing like a fucking baboon. Sorry. Sorry.
All right. So hopefully everything has worked out. I'm sorry over on Twitch that I can't see comments. Hold on a second again.
all right.
Okay, I'm done. Sorry. Oh, God. I love it when I get urgent messages in the middle of the night and I'm awake to reply. That's just perfect.
You didn't miss much. Sarah's trying to fix Twitch and I'm yelling at my daughter and forgetting to hit mute. Sorry.
Oh, I heard that. It's all good. Sounds fascinating. As far as I can tell, Twitch is moving way better now.
That's good.
But and the sound seems okay. So
All
I
right,
checked
guys.
that.
In order for this to fix on Twitch, I have to knock it off for a second, and we can still be on YouTube. I just have to restart Game Show.
Yeah, it's all good.
So everything okay?
Yeah, all good, all fixed.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, where did I leave off? I missed what happened for a minute there because I was trying to fix some issues.
Yeah,
We
no, I
didn't
was
really get
talking-
any further on the conversation.
The only thing
Nope.
I said was that my latest video has like virtually one view. And
Yeah.
it's been a couple of hours and usually it gets more. Which to me is kind of troubling. But then I didn't check before. I didn't upload as late before and I wasn't awake at this time in the night. So
Right.
might be just an impression that the views dropped. But I mean, I'd be more upset about that, not getting the views I used to get with the same amount of effort, just because they decided to still not give me any ads. That would just suck.
I wonder if your one view is the one I started and then had to leave. I'm halfway through your video.
I don't know. I don't know how they count them.
I got halfway through it and then I had an appointment I had to go to with my daughter. So I was like,
Usually it's just that it starts playing.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
so maybe it's
That
just,
counts
it's
as a
just
view.
you.
Yeah.
Probably it's just you. It's funny.
Yeah. I tried to take a little nap before we went on, so I haven't done anything. But
And then again, it might be a length issue because this is one of the shortest videos I uploaded to my YouTube channel ever.
oh really?
Yeah, it's like 5 minutes. I don't know.
yeah, it's like 4:54 and the rest of hers are like 12 to
Wow.
25 minutes. I'm looking at all your videos right now. I think the lowest one you have on here is like 8 minutes.
Oh my!
Yeah, so as far as like YouTube in general goes, one of my most recent annoyances is that in attempting to share this on Twitch, I can't, Game Show is set up in a way that you can like usually capture a window. So that way, if you don't want to capture exactly a game or something that lists itself as a game, you can just grab the window and it'll just capture the window. It won't do that with a Hangouts window.
Oh.
So it's a Google thing.
Yeah. Here's the really stupid part. Game Show is made to broadcast to YouTube as well.
Yeah, but I think it goes straight, not through Hangouts. You have to go through
it does.
different
It does,
kind
but
of
it seems
thing.
strange that Google works with Game Show, except that it kind of doesn't. Like, why did they draw the line at it doing it this way, where I could just capture this window? It, like, blocks the window. It's really strange to me that, like, that's where they drew the line in the sand, apparently.
I think it's because of the system they use. They either use a quick Hangout through Hangout, or you go through the other thing where you have to set frame rates and shit like that, like they do with OBS.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it might be just a settings thing, or it just might be so that they encourage people to use Hangouts. It still seems
Yeah,
stupid.
I don't know. It's really silly to me because it supports Game Show, so why doesn't it just support it all the way?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
But
I mean, their own apps don't work on Google Hangouts, so I think we're
That's-
asking a lot from free software.
yeah, that's probably true.
Here's what you get for free, $200 more, we'll give you everything.
I mean, the software I know that's extremely easy to use, works great, and you can stream on whatever platform you want simultaneously. The starter kit, like the smallest personal license you can buy, is $700.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the best thing.
That
It's the
seems
best thing out there.
expensive.
That's a professional tool. That's for people who broadcast events live and stuff like that. But for companies, it costs more. Anyway, it's a pro tool, but it's a lifetime thing. At least you don't pay every month. But the starter cost is just huge. And but it only, I mean, it works with just a few clicks. You don't have to set anything for YouTube. You just choose from a bunch of presets that are network specific. So you have the presets for YouTube, the presets for Twitch, the presets for live Facebook Live. It's all great. It costs a shit ton of money upfront. So
I would hope they'd have updates when things change without making you pay more for that much.
yeah, obviously, no. For the settings, yeah. For the software, for the upgrades, you probably pay an upgrade fee. But I mean, I saw a review of this software. It was compared to OBS, and it was about a year and a half ago when they made it, and it was $400, and now it's like $695. I was like, oh, that's a hefty increase over a less than 2-year period. Seems it's popular. So yeah, I think that's the downside of free tools. You can get a lot of them, and you can get a lot of use out of them, but you have to be like a freaking wizard to understand how they work and make it all align with everything else. Which is, well, I mean, there are benefits. OBS, from what I saw, was way resource hogging, less resource hogging than webcast, which you'd need like a supercomputer to run. But hey, it just works on a few clicks. I don't know anymore. But I think beyond all this, the point that annoyed me the most with YouTube is that I do not understand how this move of theirs is supposed to work. I think it's super disingenuous to say like, oh, a big YouTuber screwed up, so advertisers are worried. Then we'll just make it hard for smaller YouTubers to join this program. And we're going to kick out of the program a bunch of people who've been in it for years and haven't done anything wrong. That's the undertone that bothered me the most.
And for the most part, those people weren't really making any amount of money that Google could notice.
No, well, they say 99% of them. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's ridiculous.
I was telling Sarah that, like, we could have wrote a better press release. Any of us, like, what was that bad actors thing that they kept saying?
Here's the other thing. Why didn't every single person with a YouTube just get an email explaining what the new policy was?
Right.
Because we haven't received an explanation of what the new policy is. We've received a vague report of kind of what it's going to be. No, send me an explanation.
Yeah. I don't think they have one. I don't think they have one because I don't think they've already come up with the explanation. They just made the decision, set the milestones, and then, oh, we'll see how
evolving process.
I think they reacted and they jumped the gun.
I mean, unfortunately, they didn't jump the gun enough because they didn't, like, remove his video or, you know, any of those things. They, like, waited until everyone got really mad that they hadn't done anything about it, and then they tried to react to that.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason for that. And I'll tell you what the reason is. This isn't the first time this dude did stupid shit in his videos. It's just that now he did them elsewhere.
Yeah.
And everybody talked about it. And either way, it's
yeah, and then they're like,
shady.
oh, and he might be kind of racist sometimes too. And I'm like, oh, you think?
I'm not even sure what he is. I think he's just dumb and
Yeah,
doesn't think much.
He's awful. He's just awful. And
I mean,
you know,
I don't
that's
think he's
fine.
a racist. I think he's just awful to everybody. I don't think race comes into play. He doesn't think that far ahead.
No, he specifically was like making fun of Asian people, like making Asian people jokes and like.
Oh.
Like
okay.
so there's like these videos
wow.
of him doing these things, and people are like, look at he did these things, and it's like those have been on his channel for 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, he's been doing crazy shit like that for a long time, and nobody cared because at the end of the day, advertisers don't care. What
No,
they care
I
about,
never really cared about the content.
no, what they care about is that their ads get in front of a lot of people and they convert well. That's about it.
That's always been a bullshit answer we've been given. We were given it about television as well, but like then you go and you look at like HBO shows and you see product placement and you go, oh, apparently, in The Sopranos, they finger cuff a lady and then they beat a hooker to death. But they can get product placement from fucking Gateway and all these other companies like that they spent millions of dollars on. So obviously, it's not about being advertiser friendly because they don't care what the content is. They care how many people are watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the only reason they care now is because so many people got annoyed and angry about what this dude did, and it was genuine annoyance even from Japanese people. It wasn't just white people getting annoyed for others, because that happened a lot too.
It was like horribly offensive to almost everyone.
Yeah, that actually was, because
it was like across the board offensive to every person on the planet.
Yeah, because comparing that with Ghost in the Shell and other things that everyone assumed are offensive to the Japanese, and then they went and asked the Japanese and they were like, why would we be offended? We really don't care. We think it's fun that we see girls in kimonos in a futuristic setting. This was actually annoying to everyone, and the dead guy on film was the least of his problems in Japan. I mean, he got thrown out of a temple. He was throwing Pokeballs at people. He threw a Pokeball at the police officer in Japan, and Japanese police officers, you don't play around with them. Like, really not a good idea.
Although I think throwing Pokeballs at people is kind of funny, but I think that the setting matters.
Yeah, the setting makes
if you go to like a Pokemon Go convention and you throw Pokeballs at people, that's awesome.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, but no, he was in the middle of the street, just throwing it at people who are just minding.
Like somebody's just trying to get to freaking work today, and you're in the damn way throwing Pokeballs at them. Leave them the fuck alone.
Yeah, this was.
Do it in like New York. Do it in like the center of New York or somewhere. There's 20 million people you can just hit with a Pokeball.
You do not want to throw things at just random folks in the middle of New York. That's not a good idea.
To me,
they will take you out.
What he's doing.
I mean, the funniest part of all this was that in the beginning of his video, he was like, oh, I have to tone myself down and be respectful because Japan is all about respect. And I was like, if this is you toned down, I do not want to know what full speed would be. I just
very dangerous.
I mean, I think he should come to Romania and do that shit. That would turn out nicely.
Well, and he's the kind of kid that we get like this shock and awe over when he gets arrested in another country and punished.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, someone's gonna be really surprised when he goes to Singapore, does some stupid shit, and gets his ass caned.
Yeah.
But you follow the laws of the place you go to. So you want to act a fool somewhere, then you just get what's coming to you.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I think that ties in nicely a little bit to our conversation from last week about, I know last week we were talking specifically about author platforms, but I think anybody on a platform, a public platform of any kind, that's one of those things that you have to be able to gauge that kind of behavior. Is what I'm going to do going to cross the line.
Right.
Well,
right, and you have to be able to assess it by setting as well.
Yeah, because I
and that's
mean,
what I'm saying,
used to cross the line. He's used to cross the line all the time, and he didn't get any consequences.
But,
I mean,
but there's a difference between probably hasn't crossed the line before, or if he has, it's been small. And part of it's because I think there's some in the he has a lot of followers for a reason. People want to see people do crazy stuff. It's like Jackass all over again. People loved that show because they like to see people doing stupid shit. But
yeah, better than me.
Not sure
Yes.
it's the same thing as Jackass, though.
I think it's on the same continuum.
Yeah. Yes,
the whole idea of Jackass is that they're doing things that are shocking, that are ridiculous, that are over the top. But I think that even when you do things for shock factor, but not always. Like some of the things they did weren't just about hurting themselves. It was about doing things in public that were ridiculously over the top, that made other people uncomfortable. And there's a place for that. There's a time and a place for that. And it's something that human beings are more than happy to watch other people do. But I think that's where you have to gauge where the line is between doing stupid things that will garner people's attention in a negative way that might be positive in the all media or all what do they say? All
press is good press.
Thank you. Yes, all press is good press. Yeah. But at some point, there's a line that says no. But beyond this point, it's not good.
Well, and yeah, I mean
that line.
There's a difference between eating a Tide Pod and bleaching your hair till it falls out.
Yeah.
Like, those are very different things, and I think one of the things that happens, especially when somebody blows up really fast on YouTube for that kind of stuff, is that they find a real difficult time. They find themselves having a difficult time deciding where the line of like what's reasonable is. And you see things like that fucking couple like 2 months ago, this girl and her boyfriend were trying to go viral, and so she was going to shoot through a book that he was holding, and she killed him.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like it's like this, that there's some disconnect when you're trying to blow up without thinking, that you just go, but this will get views, and like nothing else can connect. And I think you have to have a special kind of
you just have
lack
to know where
of
to cross.
Sense. Like, I don't mean to say that even in a mean way, because I don't necessarily mean that it's like under other circumstances it would probably just be a quirky personality trait, but when you're trying to blow up on the internet, it becomes this unsafe or unsavory thing.
Do you think it's a lack of thinking through consequences, like in terms of there's a lot of talk, and has been for some time, about how the being on the internet can sometimes create a sense of unreality.
Right.
That we don't fully understand the ramifications of our actions. And I think this can tie back to companies. Does YouTube are they fully cognizant of the ramifications of their actions? They've created this huge controversy among YouTubers and on the internet. Have they thought through what the long-term ramifications are going to be? Because you cross that line, and at some point there is going to be another platform that functions better and is going to be interested in gobbling up or taking on that smaller population And they're going to put something out there and say, hey, we have this. You don't like YouTube? Come to us. We'll do this.
Amazon's already hinting at it.
Yeah,
Maybe
Twitch is changing their policies. Like,
maybe,
Twitch now, huh?
Maybe if Twitch or Amazon get involved, they might stand a chance. But
Amazon owns Twitch.
But yeah, I mean, like through Twitch or a new service.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's really difficult to compete in this market. People tried to do what YouTube does and failed because even YouTube fails at it. They make no money of it. That's the whole issue. I mean, video content takes a lot of freaking space, loads of it. And there are millions of hours uploaded every day, or I don't remember the numbers, but they're freaking impressive. So they need a lot of storage, even if it's cheap storage.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not just people who are like putting on shows on YouTube. It's also Molly's dance recital that I put up for Grandma who lives 4 states over.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, it's not just people who are publicly posting videos.
And on the other
what I'm saying is that go ahead. You were talking.
Go ahead.
I was going to say my thought is you're not looking for the next YouTube. I'm saying that there may be a platform like Twitch. Say Twitch comes up and says, okay, a portion of YouTube users they're not happy. We can bring them over to our channel and focus on what they want. You find that common denominator. But people want to post videos, they want revenue, or they want
I don't know that it's even ad revenue, especially not with our the AuthorTube community specifically. I think it's more the recognition that you're doing it seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And what I'm saying is that if another platform comes along and says YouTube is not functioning well for these people, eventually YouTube's going to become something else. If they keep moving in this direction, they're going to become a different type of
much
platform.
more like a television.
Yeah, like a television network almost.
Right.
Whereas another company, a smaller company, might be willing to say, we'll take that smaller group and give them, and I don't know what it would look like. I'm just talking hypothetically here. And a company or anybody makes a significant choice, thinking through those ramifications, I think, is something we sometimes lack. That was my point.
Yes and no, because this is Google owned. So Google can afford to do a lot of things. Okay, Google Plus failed because they tried so much to make it different from Facebook that it wasn't user friendly. But even now, if you search for a profile, your Google Plus profile will sometimes show before your Facebook profile. There's an issue with the audience that's on YouTube because the audience is not really that affected. Because I feel like the YouTubers that are most affected by this are the more niche communities like AuthorTube. Because in terms of AuthorTube, some of the biggest channels that are actually about writing are kind of small compared to everything else on YouTube.
Yeah, when you talk about like Jenna Moressi's a huge channel, but when you look at her numbers on YouTube,
I'm going to check it now just because I'm curious. I know she surpassed 100K.
Yeah, but still on YouTube, that's nothing.
Yes, exactly, and she's
AuthorTube, that's huge.
Yeah. That's the thing. There are communities like ours that are, okay, she's got 114,000 subscribers.
Yeah, that's ginormous for us.
It's ginormous for our community. There are a lot of people who have a few thousand subscribers. They are more, let's say more than the 100K. But even in the 10,000 bracket, there aren't that many.
No.
Most of us are under 1,000.
Yeah.
And we do have a limited audience, but it's a dedicated audience. I mean, if you want to advertise anything to authors, you'd want to advertise through this community.
Right.
So my thing is that I'm thinking at some point, if brands want to reach a certain community, they'll just reach out for direct partnerships.
Yeah.
Like sponsor a video and do it through a contract, and that's absolutely fine, because I think when it began, YouTube, I don't know if you remember this, but years ago, a lot of people would make comparisons between YouTube and Facebook and say how creator-friendly YouTube was compared to Facebook. And they started like that, but then they grew and they became this business, and there was pressure for them to make money, and things changed. So yeah, if Amazon gets involved, they have this huge cloud storage, whatever, that they can use, let's say, for a video service and turn Twitch into something else, or add a completely different service that's a YouTube clone. But at some point, they'll try to make money off that. And when they try making money off that, they run into the same issues that Google has been running into, and will probably get into the same point.
Except one of the things they have that is much different than YouTube is because they're owned by Amazon. One of the ways they make money off of Twitch is direct links.
Yeah, true.
So they already have like a built-in advertising scheme where you advertise things that are related to you. And I think what they would do, at least for a while, would be to add their own links to those links.
Yeah, true.
So I think they have more opportunities because they are also a seller to be able to give you more options.
That's true, because Google sells ads and apps, and that's about it.
Right. They don't sell goods, so they can't advertise their goods on your channel. They can take Sephora's money and put an ad on your channel, but they don't.
But they sell books too. I mean, they could do the same thing that Amazon would do, because you have Google Books, right? Whatever it's called.
Like the Play Store?
No, I am not sure if it's the Play Store. It's a dedicated.
Oh, there's Google Books
platform. Yeah, that's Google Books. That's tough to get into, by the way. So.
Well, see, and I think that would be where they'd start if they were going to start doing stuff like. They were really going to start direct marketing as more of their scheme. I think they'd have to start with more sales that was easier to get into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think Google would have a lot of different steps to have to take that Twitch would have.
Yeah, that's true.
And that was kind of part of my point, is that like no company is going to be able to do this kind of thing forever. Like, it's just, like you said, Alina, they're not making enough money off of it, if any at all.
Well, and I mean, it's just like how MySpace isn't a thing anymore.
Right. And that's part of the economy of the internet. But I also think that part of that economy, and being part of that economy, I should say, means we have to, as creators, we have to be aware when MySpace is no longer doing what we want it to, looking for Facebook, looking for the next Facebook, or looking for the next YouTube. What's the next platform that's going to help us achieve the goals that we want?
It's LinkedIn, obviously.
Oh, God,
obviously.
Don't get me started.
I actually really like LinkedIn, but mostly because it allows me to connect with former colleagues. Not so
You're
much
the biggest dipshit ever.
I am. I'm sorry.
It's so confusing. I'm aggravated.
So there's one person on the planet Earth who loves LinkedIn, and it's CJ.
Yeah, I tried. I mean, I tried back when I was a corporate employee, and then when I had my business, I used air quotes because it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. I thought it was, but when I ran my PR and marketing agency, I was more into LinkedIn than I am now as an author, obviously, but I always found it very confusing. And
it's also really dry.
No, it's perfect for recruiting and job hunting. That's all it can.
Right, that's what I mean. Like, you can't hang out on LinkedIn.
No.
It's like you go there to do a thing and then you leave.
It's not its purpose. Its purpose is to connect with professionals, to establish yourself as as an expert in your field, to get jobs, to find people
like I
to
did
hire.
Our job has a company, like another building or whatever in California, and that's literally the only reason I got on LinkedIn, to see who worked there that I might could talk to about other things.
Yeah, but that's a business tool. That's business. It's not fun social media.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
They should really inform like YouTube and stuff that none of us actually enjoy LinkedIn. That's not. It's not where you go to have some fun with your friends.
Yeah, clearly no.
Like it cracks me. I actually share my YouTube videos to LinkedIn because I think it's hilarious.
I share them too.
Oh God.
Not anymore because I keep forgetting. But I share my book releases and my cover reveals, and that's so fun because there are a lot of Romanian business type people that are connected to me, and I share gay romance, which is
I was going to say, and they're not down with the gayness, right?
Because I feel like I need to influence people in my country, and the only message they hear shouldn't be from the church. And
she's their secret guilty pleasure in the office.
Other people like that, yeah. Plus, I mean, it's not erotica, it's not porn, it's just romance, so they're fine. They can deal with that. If they can't,
although maybe you should sneak an erotica in there at some point just to trick some folks. They'd be like, "Whoa, this got graphic."
Yeah, no. I'm not gonna go to that extent just for LinkedIn. It's just not worth it. Nah.
Nobody notices when she takes the may to does contain graphic scenes.
But that's not what erotica is. I mean, there can be romance that has graphic scenes, but that's not the entire book.
Yeah.
That's the main difference. That's not the entire plot.
Well, yeah, but I didn't want to go that whole spiel. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you want straight up porn, you go to Tumblr. You find plenty of it there.
Right.
I opened an account on Tumblr and haven't done anything since.
I really enjoy Tumblr. I can get lost in Tumblr.
Yeah, I like Tumblr.
Y'all are gonna have to teach me how to get lost in anything, because I don't know. It just seems like a simpler Facebook to me.
I don't know. Facebook makes me want to kill myself. It's like I turn on Facebook and I get like 3 steps more depressed than I was before I hit the button to go there. It's awful.
I believe that there's a certain amount of research that backs that up.
Yeah, well, I've done my own research and I back it up.
I'm fine with Facebook. I'm so fine with it these days. I'm fine with everything. I'm fine. It's fine. I'm going to be fine.
That's your motto this year. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I didn't write everything I was supposed to today. I didn't edit everything I was supposed to do today. It's fine. I'll do it tomorrow.
I tell you, I'd be a lot happier with all social media if they'd fucking pick an algorithm and chill.
Oh God, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't even care which one you pick. Just tell me.
I mean, we've been bashing YouTube until now for their changes, but compared to Facebook, they're a freaking angel. Like, YouTube is the angel of social media when it comes to changes.
Although at least Facebook does give you a list of things they've changed and what it does.
Yes,
YouTube has to tell us that.
Basically, In theory, but then they sugarcoat it like, we've done that because you said this and whatever, and I'm there like,
I mean, I don't even care about that part though, but like YouTube just hasn't even told us yet.
But they don't know themselves.
True, but I mean, YouTube is not making you pay to reach your own audience that you worked your ass off to build. Sure. So far, I prefer YouTube from that point of view, because with the most recent changes to Facebook, it's pretty much, if you've built a great audience on your page, and we've done all these changes to make it harder for you to reach your audience, well, now we're going to make it even harder for you.
Yeah.
Because, we don't want to spam our users, and we're taking off page content, but we're still going to let all the freaking ads, and we've still fucked with your timeline, and you see what we want you to see, not what you want to see.
Yeah,
so,
and they like to switch your timeline to like the one where they choose what's best rather than just like what's most recent. Like, knock it off! Stop changing my shit.
Out of me.
And even if you choose, even if you choose the most recent setting, it still won't show everything.
Yeah.
And right now it's like, we're going to throw more group content at you, and I'm like, please don't. I get enough group content as it is, and people add me to groups all the time. I can't even catch up with how many groups I'm in.
Well, and the thing is that I can click on the group and just go and read what's in the group.
Yeah, and I mean,
if I want to look at it, I can look at it.
And for that part, I enjoy the algorithm because it shows you content from groups you actually interact with. Yeah. That's fine. I'm fine with that. That's the one part I'm fine with. And they're changing that to give me more that I don't want. Yay.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes they overdo it with my groups, even if I don't interact. Like, I'm in this D&D group, and like, some days it's like a third of my posts are from this one fucking group, and I'm like, I'm in lots of really big groups. This is not the only big group I'm in, and this is all I see. Like, this doesn't even make sense.
Oh.
And some of that might be that I have more friends in the D&D group than I do in the other groups, probably. Like, actual, like, Facebook friends.
Oh, okay.
That would make sense.
It might be it. I don't know, but some groups I'm fine with getting a lot of updates from because there are groups I'm interested in. I actually have them in my shortcuts.
Right.
But others, like, okay, you're showing me 3 posts from this group. I've not been there in like weeks.
Yeah.
But no, it's the thing is, it will always be like that. Social media will change, companies will change rules, and it won't always be for the better.
No.
Most cases it won't be. And this plays into how adaptable you have to be wherever you are. Because, I mean, I'm trying to think of the good part, which is I don't have to care that I say fuck a lot on my videos. Because it's not like they're going to get demonetized. I'm too small to matter. But I had to stop and think really hard about the reasons why I am on YouTube.
Yeah.
I really had to do that. And I realized it's not what I thought it was. Like, I really don't care about the ads part. I don't. But that's just me. I understand why I wouldn't want to be treated differently from other larger YouTubers, but I've decided I'm doing this because it's the most fun I have with marketing. So I'd rather do a YouTube video than post on other social media. This is fun. I think this is the one place where my entire personality comes off the way it is. Because people get to see me in these live chats where it's kind of hard. I mean, you edit your videos, you cut the moments when you're just like, I no, words are not working for me today.
Right.
Right.
In order to get that, you should see a live stream. I think going forward, the reason we'll manage to stay afloat at some point is because we do longer form videos, because we do streams. I mean, there are people who do short form video, and those people are going to be way more affected than we are.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if you have 60 subs and they watch a 1 hour video or stream or something, it will be way better than 60 subs watching a 2-minute video.
Right.
If they focus on watch time. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a plus, I guess. But I think all small niches like ours are going to be affected heavily, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing necessarily.
I guess it's like you said, what made you get on YouTube and start? Because for me, it was wanting to help other writers and get to know others. And depending on what happens, hopefully none of us will leave and it'll stay that way, and nothing else will change.
That's the thing for me. I wanted to connect to other people, and not necessarily people who write in the same genre as I write, because I've already have a community of those people on my other social media. Because it just happens. You connect with people who write the same things you do. And I wanted to expand that horizon because I felt it was limiting. And I tried to do that in several ways. First of all, I never read just in my genre. I find that ridiculous. I read across genres. And so I connected with some other authors. But when I got to YouTube, I had this other interest that I could share with authors specifically. And I found a bunch of interesting people to subscribe to. And I mean, there are some that I'm closer to, like you guys, because we stream all the time and we talk all the time, and that's great. But even through comments, I've connected with a lot of people that have completely different perspectives on everything. They're from everywhere, and I find that super useful because it's different getting to know people through a video than getting to know them through a quick Facebook update. I find.
Yeah.
It's just different. Plus, it's fun. It's absolutely fun.
You know, I actually have no idea why I started doing YouTube videos.
You don't?
Nope.
I was just like, I'm in the Midwest. I know absolutely no one that writes anything other than poetry or lives in Omaha, which is an hour away. So let's just see what happens. And worst case scenario, nobody watches anything. Best case scenario, I get over being in front of a camera.
Yeah, CJ, do you remember why I did?
I don't remember why you did. Well, no, wait. Yes, I do. It was because you started your writing videos because you wanted some more accountability.
Okay.
A little more, so that you felt like if you put yourself out there, you'd feel like you had to do the things.
All right.
The reason I got into YouTube is directly related to you.
I don't believe that. I never make you do things.
Follow the leader.
That is a lie.
I'm a really shitty pushy best friend.
For the last year, she's been, you should put videos on YouTube. You should do this. You should make videos.
Well, you should.
Well, she was right.
She was.
I mean,
and I have really enjoyed it. Like, this has been a really good year. I've really enjoyed, I've been doing it for 3 months. So it's been really good 3 months. I've enjoyed making videos. I've learned some new things. Like, even if I never make a cent off of YouTube, it has been valuable in that I have learned way more about marketing, about connecting with other communities, with writing community. I mean, they're just returns are astronomical for me.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I'm trying to think back of the first time I started this before I took the long break, and I can't remember exactly, but I thought it would be fun, pretty much. That was the exact idea I went into this, and I had a few videos up, and then they sent me that email. Go, oh, you can post videos that are longer than 15 minutes now. And I was like, yay! Now that I had, I mean, mine were shorter then, and then I got into the ad thing, and I made like 1 cent a month. Which was ridiculous. And I made that 1 cent because my first book trailer, which now that I look at it, is not the best ever. It had good music though. It has like 900 views now, which is a lot for me. I mean,
people are just watching it and dancing.
It's not the kind of music you would dance to unless you want to slow dance with someone.
Maybe
Don't
that's what they
judge me.
use it for. Sarah uses it as a backdrop for her dates.
I put it on repeat and dance with Travis in my living room.
Well, it's a great song for that.
I'm busted. Sorry.
Like, it's a great song for that. I understand why you would.
Yeah, I have 700 of those views.
I believe you. If my video, my book trailer hadn't stagnated at like 900 views for the past few years.
Oh, okay.
I totally believe you.
Hey, that's just because after so many views, it just quit counting her. That's all it was.
Now, the thing is, like, I used that as part of my debut novel marketing. So that was embedded in like 40 blogs for their posts. So I created the blog toolkit, and there was the code for the video as well. So that's how I got to so many views. Otherwise, nah, not happening. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I started it because I thought it would be fun. I never thought I'd have a huge following because, I mean, I was talking about writing. BookTube has always been bigger, I think. There are a lot more booktubers with a bigger following because a lot more people read than they write.
Yes.
Which makes sense.
Also,
and people
readers are. Oh, go ahead. I think people are much more open about the books they write. And Sarah's talked about this. You could talk about somebody else's work for days. I mean, you get me started on an author that I like or a book I particularly enjoy, and I could talk about it forever. I wouldn't have any problem making videos about books I enjoy or books I hate. Like, I could make those videos and they would be engaging and I'd have a lot of fun. I mean, like that, I understand that. It's harder to put yourself out there and be like, so
come judge me.
I think you should read my stuff. Not like, you know, the best, like, it's really hard to be like, go read my stuff, it's amazing, and not feel like an ass.
My concern is, what if I'm lying about that?
Well, if as long as you believe it's true, you're not exactly lying. People might disagree with you, but
I'm too bipolar to believe that shit. Even on my meds, I'm too bipolar for that.
Well, see,
it goes back to the idea of perception, though. Perception is reality. If somebody perceives that your book is the best, maybe your book is the best.
True. Like, I always have this issue when I think I'm bragging too much. If I get all excited about my own books.
Yeah.
Which I think is dumb. Because, of course, I'm excited about things I'm so interested in that I'm willing to kill myself writing them and editing them and marketing them and trying to make this into a career. Because, I mean, I don't believe that bullshit that the only money you can get is in traditional publishing. I have lots of people telling me the exact opposite. But if you want to make money, there are easier, less stressful ways to make money than writing.
Right.
Yes, there are.
Because, I mean, to write, first of all, you have to be a creative person. Even if you write to market, let's say you write completely to market based on the latest trends and what tropes sell, and that's how, the entirety of your process of deciding how to write. Even then, you're creating something, you're exposing yourself to criticism, which is a lot more than, I don't know, making handmade stuff.
Yeah. Well, here's my thing. The job that I quit 6 months ago, I was finally making, like, it was a nonprofit, so I didn't start out making great money. And, you know, it went through a couple of bad years, so I wasn't making great money. But I want you to know, if I had stayed there, give me a couple more years, and I would have been making for myself, plus do or purchase, you know, whatever I needed or wanted. Like, I was moving in the right direction. My sister works for a home mortgage company, and she makes a ton of money, and she's very good at it. Yeah. But that's not where her heart is. And she does it so that she can do the things that she, you know, where her heart is, where her passion is. And she can do those things separate, and that job supports that. For me, I did the same thing you did. I couldn't write effectively and work 40 hours a week at another job. I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
that's I could. I just didn't want to.
Well, I work 60 and I can't do it, so I don't know.
Yeah, but, you know, you make that choice, and you make the hardest choice where you're like, well, I'm going to do this creative thing. And I think every creative person I don't want to say make peace with that, but accept the fact that you're going to live a little bit crazy your entire life, just because that's how being creative works.
But hasn't most writers or creative people always been told they're crazy anyway? Or that they're different out there?
I don't know about most,
I don't know.
but I know that there's a significant correlation between there are higher instances of mental illness in people who are creative.
This is true.
There's a correlation there. So
yeah.
I mean, I've heard that a lot, that people, I saw Brooke's video actually, where she said that she didn't tell people she was writing for a very long time because she didn't want to be considered different. And I never understood that. I mean, that's a cultural thing, I guess. In Romanian culture, being a writer is a pretty neat thing. You get hella respect just to try and be cool.
Yeah, I couldn't tell my parents that I wanted to write for a really long time, because not because they would be mean about it, but because they would say things like, that's cute. So it's not really a fear of like the meanness for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's like, that's a nice hobby.
Right, it's like condescending.
Yeah, I think I never ran into that. And the second thing is, when I was younger, I was quite confident and I'd show my stories. I think that's why I have less issues with marketing myself now, because people found out I was writing, because if you write during your school breaks, people will catch on. And actually in 7th grade or 8th grade was it? So I was like 13 or 14. I had this geography teacher who read my books. And I remember it now. It was this red notebook, and I was writing a bullfighter story, female bullfighter, because why not, Alina? And it was sort of a mystery too. Her father had been killed, whatever. It was complicated. But even before that, I got used to showing my stories to people. And in high school, I'd show my essays and my novels. I call them novels in air quotes because I rarely ever finished them. So they didn't amount to more than a novella, let's say. So I was in a humanities class. So we had a lot of literature every week. So it felt like if I got a critique from my colleagues, it would be a relevant one. And I got that for everything I wrote. So I think that made it easier later on. But I've never been treated as, I mean, it was more like, oh, that's cool, rather than, oh, that's cute.
See, I grew up writing, and I was always the weird kid that always had a notebook in her hand, and I didn't really make friends because I always moved around a lot. So for me, it was like, I thought I had a great first book, 12 years ago now, and I self-published it. And granted, like I said before, at the time that was taboo, and it's like, I thought it was great, but no one bought it, and I didn't know how to market, and which is why I love the platforms now. But it kind of made me question myself, and I quit writing for a good 5 years. And, so now it's really hard to say, I know I have a great thing and to shop it, because when I get a rejection, I revert back to that same feeling. And so I'm getting further this time. I've got, a couple bites, but, it's still, they say, oh, everybody gets rejections. And that's fine, but you don't know what that person's past experience has been with those and how they're going to take them. So.
Yeah, well, I think, let me put it this way. My first book that I self-published, after getting out of a small print contract because I wasn't really happy with them. I decided, you know what, fuck those guys, I'm going to self-publish. And I got an editor, I got a cover designer, I learned all I could about marketing, and I had a successful release day party. Never do that, by the way. Don't do a 24-hour release day party. It's insane, it's not worth it. Go sleep. And then because I've been paying attention at that point, and I sent invites to a lot of bloggers. I got about 40 blogs to join my blog tour for a debut novel, which was great. I mean, I think 15 to 20 of those people agreed to review, so I was like super happy with that. That said, I published it in April 2014. It will be 4 years today in April. I did not make more than half of my investment in that first book. It did not sell great, and part of it was, oh, indie author new, I don't know what that's about, but most of it was that even with all the research I did at that point, I had no clue how to market that book. I just had no clue.
Right.
And for the second one, I waited too long before releasing it without knowing it would be a problem, and that I'd benefit a lot from releasing it faster. And then I started working with my publisher, which was out of the blue. I saw a call for submissions for a short story anthology, and the topic just spoke to me. And I discovered the call 2 days before the deadline. And I wrote a short story in 2 days.
Short story being how many words?
That was, at that point, was 7,000 plus.
See, so when I say short story, I mean under 2,500 words usually.
Now,
just in case you're all wondering what my short stories are, that's what I'm talking about.
Daily goal is my monthly goal. That's how much you write compared to me.
No, the short story was dictated by what they required, and it was a minimum of 2,000 words and the maximum of 15,000. And I wrote this short story that I was super happy with. It was like super inspired, but then of course it got accepted, but it went through 2 editors and 2 rounds of editing each. And I started working with my publisher, and I was working on a publisher schedule, so I couldn't release as many books. And I did release some of my indies as well, but there was no rhyme or reason to my marketing or my publishing ideas of how my schedule should be. I was just writing whatever I felt like. And I think that was detrimental for me, because you start series and then people have to wait forever to get the next installment, and that usually pisses them off. Even if they are a standalone series, if they really like that series, they want more of it, obviously. Maybe you shouldn't make them wait for a year or 2 or 3.
Or 7.
You
should publish a book with a cover for that series, and in it just have one sheet that says you haven't waited as long as George R.R. Martin's fans, and just have that be out as the next book.
Yeah, and then everybody will email me saying, "You're not George R.R. Martin, bitch. Get to writing."
You can always do like Trenda. She writes in episodes. Just write like a chapter a book. Publish every few months.
Serials go well, though, but you have to publish them very often for them to work. Yeah. And I can't. Yeah. I can't write short stuff. We cover that, right? I just don't do well with short stuff.
Come on, your Valentine's thing is doing what in a month? You write a lot really quick. Your
my Valentine's?
The novella.
I've worked on it. I mean, it's all this month, but it's mostly a week and a half, and I didn't write every day. So I think I had 6 to 7 active days of writing on it, but I did outline it. I mean, I have an outline by chapters, so it's easy. Plus, I know these characters really well because I've got 2 books of them that I've already written, and these are characters. So I based this on people I knew and on things that happened to me and my friends throughout school and university. So a lot of the setting and the people and the circumstances were quite nostalgic in a way, but very familiar. So it was really easy to write. So I don't know. I find it that when you get to know some characters really well, it's easy to write them. Easier than just starting from scratch and deciding what characters are all about.
Okay, you write a series like I do, so I want to ask you a really weird question. Do you find yourself, when you're not writing, thinking about what a certain character would say to what you're doing?
I don't know, not really.
We were grocery shopping yesterday, and my daughter was like, "You know what? Sky would not like that you just said that." I'm like, "Who's Sky?" She goes, "Your character."
No, I don't do that, but I do that with Anu a lot. Anu is my D&D character.
Mm-hmm.
Because he pops into conversation with Mike a lot. That's why. And because he's based on a character from an anime I loved a lot.
Right.
So he pops up a lot in conversation, but it's usually it's usually characters in animations or TV series or stuff that's happening at that point.
Oh, okay.
Or that have become a meme that I reference more than my own characters. I do that too sometimes, a lot less often. But Anu pops up a lot. But Anu is he's an event. Let's say
Well, because I created my own language and my daughter's trying to learn it, and so someday she'll just start talking to me in front of other people in it, and I'm like, this is really weird and awkward.
That might be strange, but not really. I mean, it's less strange than her inventing her own language and you not understanding it.
That would be worse, yeah.
At least you know what she's saying, so that's good. But yeah, I don't know. I think you need a lot of you need to be relentless to make it as an author, if that makes sense. And
yeah.
In a real weird way, what you need now to make it on YouTube is being just as relentless. So I think we already have the training down pat. So we should just apply the same level of relentlessness into writing, into YouTube. Sorry.
I was like, wait, what?
My God, one of these days, Sarah, I promise, one of these days, I'll come onto your stream and I'll be super sharp and you'll go, "What are you on, girl?" And I'll say, "Nothing. I just finally learned how to manage my schedule and slept before the stream enough."
always tired at your stream, so I can't say much.
It's fine. I'm fine. Everything's good. I should
It's all fine.
We're back to the fine. It's all fine.
I'm gonna start counting how many times you say that.
I said it twice today, by the way, during the stream, because I'm counting.
Well, no, I think you said it at least like 5 with Claire. We're fine.
Yeah, with Claire it was at least 5 times. And I have this feeling that as the year progresses, the number of times I say it will increase.
There you go. River got said I'm fine.
If I had the editing skills, I'd turn it into a song or something. But I don't, so it's fine. Oh,
That's my new goal for this year is to learn auto-tune at the rate at which you become more and more fine. So I can auto-tune, you're fine.
Thank you, please do that.
And then 2019 will be the year I auto-tune every damn thing.
And that will get you like to 1 million subs. Like
Right?
that.
Right, that'll get me there.
Here you go, Sarah. At the end of the year, just auto-tune it in different varieties so she just sings it, you know, all year, different videos.
Can that be my Christmas present?
Yeah, if I can figure out how to make auto-tune work or afford it.
Oh, you have to
If there's
buy
a free
that
auto-tune
shit.
program.
If there's not a free auto-tune program, then don't bother. Just not worth it.
I mean, I might need to learn auto-tune just because, you know, that sounds like something I should do.
Wonder if you can make a what do they call it? A Musical.ly? We'll make a Musical.ly of her.
It looks like there are some free auto-tune programs, so I will look into it and see if I can find one that works.
Wow.
Just for you.
See, I inspire you, Sarah. I inspire you to do fun things.
I'll see if I can make the bridge of the song Claire saying she's fine.
Oh, that would be delightful.
Oh, God.
Or just have Claire laugh every time she says I'm fine. They do a lot of laughing.
I mean, in our stream, I think there's enough footage of us laughing like idiots. And the main reason we were laughing was because we were so scared of our own goals. I think it was so ridiculous. But yeah, anyway, if I survive this year, no, seriously, if I survive this year, I can do anything. I legit believe I can just one day decide I want to fly and not fly.
You will have written all the words and left none for us. We will be speechless.
That will be my new excuse. I haven't written because Alina took all the words.
There you go.
Yeah, I've read though that making goals that are actually too big will still make you do better than you would have done.
Yeah.
But making goals that are too small will not.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, how far can you even fail when you have a goal that's that big?
Yeah.
Like a failure, you still have to celebrate a failure because it's still going to be so much better than would be reasonable outside of the goal.
True.
Well,
that's true.
Yeah. Well, it depends on. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I have to remember not to stress out too much because I had to finish some edits by the end of the day yesterday. It was a self-imposed deadline because, you know, I have to get this book ready on time to get into the pre-orders and whatever. It won't be a tragedy if it gets there tomorrow midday. And I didn't write all the words and I was super bummed out about it. I was on the verge of crying. You know, I sent you a message earlier saying I was going to sleep before the stream and not stay up and write. I was driving
home at that point.
I was on the verge of tears at that point because I wasn't going to finish everything. I've been working all day, but I had to run some errands that we didn't know about, and that completely messed up my schedule because I lost like 2.5 hours of my time. So, and then I was like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Nothing's going to help, and crying definitely won't. And it's not the end of the world. I'm not that far behind. I can still finish all the books I wanted to finish by the end of the month. It just won't be as high of a word count because, you know. So yeah, it's a process dealing with this, and it's just January. I mean, I would like to point out it's only January 20 right now for me, and I'm already going insane.
Yeah, but the other thing is that like sometimes you just have to get used to doing it, even if it's still like it'll still be uncomfortable, but I think sometimes you get used to doing it and it becomes less uncomfortable just because you're used to it.
Yeah, true.
So I think like by like March you might feel like this is way easier than I thought it was going to be in January.
It's like,
it's still not going to be.
You think about it in terms of like, so my sister and I started doing yoga together, and the first, I don't know, month we did it, the yoga instructor, we watch yoga on YouTube. We do yoga with Adrienne, and she's delightful. She's hilarious and she's really engaging. And but I think like the third or fourth video we did, she says something like, take a rest in downward dog. And we do this and we're like, this is not resting. I don't know what you're talking about. This is insane. I am still in pain. I almost fell over. Like, it was that kind of ridiculous. Like, I thought she was absolutely insane. But we got through like the first 30 days, and now we're like 2.5 months in, and downward dog is actually restful now. Like, she's like, rest in downward dog. I'm like, yes, downward dog. Oh no, I love you so much. I can relax. And that, I think, anything you do, to some extent, anything that's really difficult, once you reach that plateau, it gets easier to maintain, I guess.
Yeah, true. And actually, the more I think about my schedule, it's actually a lot more relaxed after February.
Yeah.
Because I got all the
you made it kind of front heavy.
Transfer goals. No, I got all the transfer goals from December, from when I was sick, and just too busy with Christmas and decorating this room to actually write. So there's that.
Yeah,
wasn't the smartest thing.
We're still looking at when I'm going to get my stuff transferred over to Amazon, so that's like a whole thing.
Help with that as much as I can. You know that.
Yeah, I appreciate that because I have no idea what I'm doing, and Travis is getting really frustrated with his books, so I can't imagine it's going to be like my books don't have pictures in them though because he makes gaming books. So there's like he has like layout issues. If the layout changes 1/4 of an inch, that's like a big thing. For mine, it's just like, oh, make sure that the page break doesn't land in a weird place. So it's like you just kind of flip through the pages and make sure it's not stupid.
Well, even for some writing, like when I'm trying to put in my translations in the front, like it does not like it. Like I've tried it in text documents, I've tried it in a picture, I've tried it 4 different ways until I finally got it to work.
Mine's already spec'd out as a book, though.
Right.
Like I just have to change over to a different format, so like it's probably not going to change a whole lot.
Do you have it in Word versions? In a Word version, like
I don't know what the hell he has.
That you can copy paste from, because you can just download one of their
he already has all that stuff because he's got all that ridiculous software, that fucking expensive shit. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, no, I meant like you can do yours just using Word and a few templates.
Oh yeah, I've never put a book up myself. Just Travis has always done it. Like he had done it for like 7 years before we got together. 8 years, something like that.
Okay, makes sense.
So I was just like, oh, you just want to do it? All right.
Nothing wrong with that. Utilize your resources, man.
Well, and like and I think that was part of the reason I started wanting to do YouTube, was that like I couldn't do anything for myself as far as that kind of stuff went. I was like super helpless. If I wanted to make a book trailer, I had to have Travis make the whole book trailer. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't even like give him input because I didn't know what input there would be. So it's like one of the things about knowing how to cut a video, at least I have some idea what options there are. You know, like he's still way better at it than I am. But
yeah, well, I mean, I can come up with ideas and what I want, but I don't think I'd ever go to Mike and say, well, I want this trailer done like this. Can you please do it for me? Because I think the director in him would murder me in my sleep.
Yeah, I am really hands off about his like video stuff. I think I've been on 2 movie sets the whole time we've been together. And I just like he did an adaptation of one of my stories, and I literally was like, have fun, I'll see you when you get home. And he was like, you want to see the footage? And I'm like, I'll see you when you cut it. And it was really strange because we were both really nervous about it, but we both ended up really happy with it. So I mean,
yeah, but
that's normal or
there's
not.
a level of trust that goes between the two of you. If it were some random director just making something out of one of my books, I'd be like super, you know, right there in his face.
Right.
Or her face. Like, show me, let me see. I need to have a say in who you choose to play my characters. Because I know them better. I've already thought of who to use.
Yeah, I gave him the story. He converted. I don't think I even read the script. And he ended up using most of my actual dialogue anyway. But it ended up being like one of my favorites of all of his movies, and not because it was based on something I wrote. I just really like it. Like it ended up weirdly working out. So.
Mm-hmm. Which is perfect. It's the best way.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, I mean, that's what I think I enjoy the most when working with certain people. I like to get to that point where I do my job and I trust you to do yours, and I don't have to be micromanaging you, because then it's a waste of my time. If I have to micromanage you, it's not a good thing. And I have a few people that I can do that with, and one of them is my cover designer, Alina, who's also my friend, so maybe that's why we click so well. But usually when I think of a cover and try to talk to her, she somehow comes up with something that's kind of like what I wanted, but 10,000 times better. And she can go off so little information, and it just turns out great.
Yeah.
And she's the kind of person that's open to suggestions, like, let's do this more market friendly and let's make it reflect its freaking stupid genre and make it sell well. She won't say like, oh no, you're getting on my creative toes and you're stepping on my creative toes and I don't want that. But still, just some arrangements work, some partnerships work, and when you've got something like that, I think you should run away with it and do the best you can. Like, even with streaming, you know?
Yeah.
When I started doing my streams, there were a lot of people and I had a certain format, and I was trying so hard to make it somehow as inclusive as it could be, to just make sure everyone got a shot to come on, and it got tiring at some point. And it was tiring for everyone, because everyone was tired. Someone was tired every time, and I was the stressed out one trying to coordinate everyone. And then I said, you know what? I'll just make it every Saturday, and whoever can come, and that's it.
Right.
Like, the only person I was willing to change the time for was Nikki, but Nikki was traveling anyway. So she's just gotten back. So maybe we'll discuss that in February. But for Nikki, all I have to do is move the stream 1 hour earlier. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Which you'll hate me for. I know.
No. That's not too bad. I'm usually up at like between 7 and 7:30.
Okay.
Like not like on Saturday, I usually wouldn't be, but like during the week, I'm up at that time anyway. So it's not like a stretch for me to do it on a Saturday. It's just like, it's another one.
Yeah. But the thing is, the point was, when I relaxed and just saw how it all went, there are people that stuck to the stream and we meshed really nicely. And I don't have to worry about it, that we won't find something to talk about. And that's great.
We have too many things to talk about.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of that, there was one more
tonight.
thing I wanted us to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
And that is kind of what we would like to see happening in the AuthorTube community, either things that we'd like to be able to interact with other people or ways we'd like to see other people interacting with each other, that kind of thing. And I think the first thing I wanted to say about that was that I think one of the hardest things about the way YouTube works right now is that you can't just look up people with under 1,000 subscribers or something like that. You can't do that. I can't find a way to do it. If there is a way, then somebody needs to send me a message. But
no, you can't filter on subscriber numbers.
Right, and like I prefer people who aren't as polished. I prefer someone who isn't putting on a show as much as they're talking. And I feel like if I could filter by subscriber numbers, I could have more control over that. I found it when I first started coming to AuthorTube and watching videos, I found it really difficult to find people who weren't at the Jenna Maressi, Kristen Martin level. And like, it was a struggle, like to find people who weren't at that level of the AuthorTube community.
Yeah, I remember because I tried everything. I was searching on YouTube. I searched on Google for authors to follow on YouTube and things like that. And I really failed. I found some people, but it was more like going from channel to channel and following recommendations.
It was like needles in a haystack.
Yeah. And then the big part, the big breakthrough came when someone I was following or a video I stumbled across was the AuthorTube newbie tag.
Yep, me too.
And I was like, oh my God, there's a group. There's a freaking group.
Yeah, and that's
go into that group.
Looking up specific tags was one of the ways I found smaller YouTubers. Was by looking up the tags and then filtering it by like ones that were posted today or this week or whatever, because then I wasn't getting just the ones that had the most views. So like that's a lot of like manipulating to try to get to finding content you're looking for.
Yeah.
So you're thinking maybe like more categories to search?
Yeah, I think that wouldn't hurt.
The thing is, there is no book and writing category. You can place your content in entertainment
or blogs,
which kind of works, or blogs and people, which I don't think is the same. I'd rather keep them in entertainment.
I think I do blogs and people.
To be honest, because
look, I don't know.
I'm on the funny side, so I always.
I don't know. I think I've switched back and forth.
It's quite possible. I think it goes. It's defaulted to entertainment now. So. Because books are sort of entertainment, not really, but it's the closest I could find. Because I don't talk about myself as much as I talk about my passion for books and writing, which is not people. I don't know if it made sense in my head. But yeah, there's no dedicated category. And I think it's not just that, it's just how we title videos and what keywords we use and how much stuff we put in the description or not. Because I still run into videos that don't have social media or by default have a social media link that doesn't work, which is fun. Because usually that's how I do it. If I find someone new on AuthorTube that's I mean, I'm not following everyone. Let's be honest here, because I can't. I can't physically follow everyone and subscribe to everyone and actually watch their videos. There's not enough time. At this point in time, I watch videos in the morning while having breakfast and coffee, second coffee, and during my lunch break. That's it. And some videos I just run in the background while I'm writing, but those are not usually AuthorTube videos because
You're not really watching them.
Yeah. So the way I do it, I find someone new that I like and I think I could click with. I find a common interest with that person, and then I follow them everywhere. If they have Twitter, I follow them on Twitter. If they have Instagram, I'm going to follow the Instagram, and so on. So I think that group on Facebook helps.
I do too. That is where I found a lot of people.
But not everybody knows about the group.
Yeah.
I think more tags would help. That's why I was so excited about your tag.
Yeah, I need to do the one you tagged me in last week.
I've done mine. I haven't edited it.
I have 2 more that I've been tagged to do and haven't done.
Well, keep tagging me, because otherwise I just make videos where I swear in my boss's car.
I would like to publicly apologize to the 2 JDs, JD Archer and JD Estrada, because they both tagged me like a million years ago, and I didn't do them. But the reason why was that in the case of JD Archer, the tag I was supposed to do was about booktubers and sort of other tubers from different parts of the world that weren't from my country. And everyone I knew was from the US and Australia. That was it. So I had to wait to find more booktubers that I liked, and I achieved that. So I can do the tag now. And for GD Estrada, he tagged me fairly recently. I mean, it was December. It's not that bad. And it was something about your selecting a certain number of videos of mine that I considered good or picked for some reason. And I just got sick and then delayed it. That's my only excuse. But usually I think interacting with other authors and commenting and sharing our videos. I do that on Twitter sometimes. I share videos from AuthorTube, and getting together in that group and doing collabs and tags and things like that is really, really helpful.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, the AuthorTube community as a whole is made up of fairly small channels. We have a really limited chunk of the YouTube thing.
Right,
So
right.
our say is not that great. So it's like we do with books. If we help each other out and we grow the industry, we all make more money if more people read.
Right.
Same with AuthorTube content. If we promote each other enough and more people watch it,
Right.
it's getting better for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think one of the other things that I think I'd really like to see is, and I think I've seen a little more of it recently, is more like interactions with each other in videos without them being necessarily like streams and stuff, like collabs and things. And I feel like collabs are becoming a little more popular in the community, and I really like that.
Yeah.
Especially because I've seen a couple that are like one channel that's under 1,000 subs and one channel that's over 1,000 subs, and that's a nice That's a nice collab that they're going to probably pull different people from each other. It's probably going to work out well for both of them. And I feel like that's something that's fairly new to the community, I think. So I think that's probably a really good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is, and I think it will work okay in the future. And I think it's fine that we interact with BookTube a lot and we collaborate and talk about books, because most of us are passionate readers, not just writers.
Right.
Right.
And I like that. I mean, I keep meaning to say this on video, but I never managed to because.
Well, now you're on a video.
But,
Say it.
I went on one of my own videos.
I know, I'm just messing with you.
We have books, so if booktubers, small, large, I don't care, want review copies, they can always contact us.
Right. Yeah, that's for sure. And I think that's something we haven't really, as a community, made much of a like comment on. But I feel like most author tubers feel that way.
Yeah, I think so too. And sure, I can't always send paperbacks because I'm all over here. But ebooks we can send, no problem.
Right, right. They cost literally nothing to send.
Well, or support your writer. I mean, like I said, I bought Alina's couple books, and then I've bought Claire's couple books, and now I'm doing an indie thing on my BookTube channel. So that's the way for me to help you guys while still reading and helping other people see all these nice books. So
that's actually something that happens across the community from what I've seen.
Yeah.
I think Christy Stratos hosted, I hope I didn't butcher her name too much. She hosted the Go Indie Now yesterday, I think it was at some point, and there were a lot of indies talking there, and they all said, they all talked about reading each other's books. Not each other as in the people on the stream, but each other as in indies. And I think that's important. I mean, I read a lot of indie authors, and whenever a friend of mine publishes books, I mean, friends that in whose books I'm interested, because if I go on the broader meaning, I have a lot of friends on YouTube and Facebook. If I bought all the books at once, I'd go bankrupt.
Right.
Some of them are prolific, but I do pre-order the books. I do buy the books, and I mean, I mentioned that in today's review because it was Nikki's book, but I bought that. I mean, I could have asked her for a review copy,
Right.
but I bought that because, you know, it was a book I really found interesting. I wanted to read that story, and I went and bought it.
Yeah.
But that said, I do not encourage people to buy books they don't have money for.
Right.
Obviously not. Because that's dangerous, and this comes from someone who's on a book ban currently because she bought so many and hasn't read them yet. I mean, I bought Amy Tasukada. I bought her third Yakuza book because I read the first two. I bought it in December and haven't read it yet.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I got the second one and haven't read it yet.
Don't say anything. I just bought the first one.
I don't even have the first one. She told me I could read the second one independently.
For the Yakuza series or the other one?
Yeah, I think it's that one.
I
think you should read the first one anyway.
Yeah. She told me the same thing, but I was like, well, I'm going to interview you, so I'm just going to read all three.
I think she's going to have a promo for them, and the first one is going to be 99 cents. I totally recommend you get that.
Okay, if you see that, message me because I might miss it because I miss lots of stuff. When I'm not at work, I try to stay off Facebook because I have to be on it at work, and it makes me want to jump in a lake, like I've mentioned.
I know about it because I'm supposed to promote it on my newsletter.
So yeah.
So I'm just looking now. Oh no, Bloodstained Tea, the first Yakuza book, is actually free.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's free to download on Amazon.
Yeah, I think I have it on my Kindle. Yeah.
I don't know. It's whatever book it is. It's on my Kindle. It's one of literally 2 books on my Kindle because I don't read on digital.
Okay.
It makes my eyes hurt. So that's the actual problem with why I haven't read it. It has nothing to do with, you know, like her book itself. It's that I have to train my eyes to read on a screen.
Okay. I'm the exact opposite. I haven't bought, I mean, the only paperbacks I've bought in the past 3 years are paperbacks I bought at conventions because I wanted them signed. I do not buy paperbacks because most of the books I buy are from the US or the UK, which would mean with VAT and transport, it would double at least, or maybe sometimes triple the price of the book. Plus, I'd have to wait for like a month and a half to get the book. So,
I got you both beat. I've got
Yeah, see, I
5
used to-
full bookshelves and like 200 plus books on my Kindle.
Yeah, I used to shop in the bargain bin at Barnes & Noble and Borders, like a lot. And so like 2/3 of my books are hardcovers.
Oh, nice.
Because like they were like stupid cheap. So
Yeah, I hate reading them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's I had issues with, I have issues with my eyesight. I need a lot of light to be comfortable reading. And there were some issues with my glasses, and I kept getting the wrong prescription, and doctors weren't exactly clear about how long or often I should wear my glasses. So reading on a printed book, especially on the ones with the small font, was a pain. It was just so tiring that I could read for like 20 minutes and then I had to drop the book. So that was annoying. And the moment Kindle came about, I was the happiest person alive. That's when I started reading a lot again. Plus, I did this thing where whenever I found some time to read, I'd read all the books. So I went on this vacation for 3 weeks. It was my first vacation in 4 years. I was still working a corporate job. And I thought, well, 3 weeks of vacation, 3 books will suffice. I read all 3 books in the first week. I got super lucky that I was in Turkey. I wasn't going to go into a bookstore and buy books because I couldn't read them in Turkish. Right. But I was just walking around this seaside resort that was rather small, and I find this table set outside in front of a shop with used books in English. And there were these ladies from the UK that were selling them to raise money for a animal shelter. Mm-hmm. So I got a thriller that's called Relentless. I have it there. I got a copy of Taipan in English because I had it in Romanian, and I got a small Agatha Christie book. I remember them, like, I was so happy. And I had reading material. So when I got my Kindle, that stopped being a problem because I have so many books on it. I never run out, and it's small and tiny. It doesn't take a lot of room in my luggage, so perfect. I do great with the Kindle.
Yeah, a lot of my physical books are actually like reference materials too. Like, you know, I mean, I have like a book of poisons and what they do to you, like a huge book of poisons, and then, you know, like writers' markets and things like that.
Yeah, no,
so
I bought a huge book. I bought a huge book on character traits to help me figure out like what somebody suffering from some certain something is going to help with.
Yeah.
Less research I have to do.
Yeah, I have it's based on the DSM-4, not the 5, so it's an older book, but it's basically a breakdown of how to present different mental illnesses in stories.
Yeah. Which is pretty awesome.
I have too many books. I'll be upfront about that.
There's no such thing.
But I'd like to say at this point, I think, living with my sister, I think she may have outdone me. Most of my books I have a lot of fiction books and a lot of writing books. That's mostly what my collection entails. And I've considered like getting the Kindle app or something on my phone. But I really like physical books. I like the smell of paper. I like holding them in my hand. I like turning pages.
Do you remember the commercial where they made that sound like it was a bad thing versus the tablet? I don't even remember which tablet it was.
No.
Oh, there was a commercial about that one time. Somebody's like holding a book and they're like, but it smells good. And they're like, paper white or something like that was in their hand. They're like, I think I'll stick with this. I was like, that's not right.
Well, from an ecological footprint perspective,
well, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
especially with a Kindle. And in my case, it's not just the actual pages of the book. It's not just the making of the book. It's just the transport, because they have to take a plane to get it here. Like,
yeah. And that does make a difference. I mean, there are considerations.
Yeah, and I don't order books very often.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't have someone deliver a book to me very often anyway, even though it'd be a lot cheaper for me to do that than it is for you.
To get the books I want, I can go to the very few bookstores that have English books.
Right.
And they won't have everything I want.
Yeah.
Or get them delivered here from the US, which is a freaking pain.
I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
Plus, it costs a lot because it's overseas, and it's not like, oh, it's from here to Canada. It can go on a bus. So beyond the price, for that price, I can buy a bunch of books. And I know from my own books, so I have my paperbacks start at like $7.99 for the novellas and go up to, I think, $11.99 is the most expensive one because it has a shit ton of pages. And my ebooks are between $2.99 and $3.99, most of them. When I sell an ebook, I make a lot more royalty than I make on a paperback. So buying a paperback doesn't necessarily mean the author gets more money. Plus, it takes forever to deliver them. I mean, if I want to read the book now, if I have to wait for 6 weeks, it's not fun.
To be fair,
at all.
Most of my physical books that I own, I'm not too concerned about the author. Like Stephen King and Chuck Palahniuk aren't worried about my money.
Yeah, but see, those authors do help them by buying paperbacks and hardcovers because it affects their rankings.
Right,
the bestseller
but I'm
books.
saying, like, I'm not too worried if they take less royalties from the book I bought, because
they take crap royalties anyway.
Right, in the grand scheme, they've made their money already, and that's how they made their money. It's already made.
True. But I bought so many indie books lately that I do care about that. Sort of.
I hate to say this, and I don't want to say this. I'm trying really hard not to like be a jerk about it, but indie horror is so hit or miss. And horror is my favorite, but holy shit, some people think that they understand horror and they don't. Mm-hmm. And so you end up like, you're 300 pages into this book and you're like, well, there's 20 pages left and I don't know why this was in horror.
Yeah, like, no, I get that.
So yeah, that's one of my roadblocks with buying a whole lot of indie books is like I can't find some indie authors I really like, and I think part of that is that I don't know many other horror authors, and so I don't get many recommendations. So it really is just me like literally judging books by their covers.
Yeah, no, that's the difference. That's the difference because when you connect with a lot of authors in different genres, you get. I mean, like. I try to read their excerpts and I try to go into the samples, but what I do when I try new authors, and I know a lot of people do that, if I see someone who's sort of interesting and they have a promotion going, I'm going to buy a book. And if that book is appealing enough, I'm going to buy the entirety of their books.
Right.
And I mean, some of them are quite prolific and they put out great stuff. So
yeah,
it keeps me busy. And others, I have to badger until they get my book out.
Yeah, I got friendly with a lady who wrote partly horror novels, and over on Twitter, and I liked her, and she seemed fine, and she seemed like a reasonable person. She had like, I don't know, 40 some odd books she'd put out in like 2 years. So she blew my fucking mind. Yeah, so. But like, I bought a book and I took it camping and I get like 2/3 of the way through and the format changed. like the layout.
Okay.
Like it changed, like the line spacing changed from 1.5 to double, and the edges moved in, and like it really like it was really really off-putting to me. And at that point, I was already kind of like discouraged by the story because it seemed really obvious to me, and so like I like really liked her and wanted to buy more books, but at the same time I was like, but what if they all upset me like this, and like I don't want to like.
But it's fine. I mean, like you do the same. I mean, I don't think you should feel guilty for treating an indie author the exact same way you treat a trad published author. Like if I buy a Stephen King book and I dislike it, I'm not going to rush to buy another one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I guess that's valid, and it's hard for me to remember because I feel like we should kind of be helping each other out, but at the same time, if I just don't like it, I just don't like it.
You should do your best to help them, but not...
Yeah. If the formatting was the only thing that put you off, that'd be one thing, but if you weren't already into it, then...
No, when the formatting change hit, it was like, my brain was just like, I've had enough!
Yeah. It's quite possible she didn't do it herself. She paid someone to do it. There was an error, and she just didn't spot it, because sometimes you don't.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was really, really obvious. I ended up literally using her book to prop up a table for a while.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing was that I'm an epically slow reader. I read in like a trade paperback. I read about a page a minute. Like I am an epically slow reader. I retain almost everything, but I'm so slow. But I read her book in 3 hours.
Oh. Okay.
So like I'm fairly certain the font was decided partly to make it seem longer, like the font size, because it was like a 14. Maybe a 15.
Oh wow!
So it was like
I got a 12 on one book, and it turned out really big, like this one. See this one here. It's got a 12 font. This is a 12. It's not bigger. It looks big, but it's a 12.
Yeah, no, it looks like that. Looks like a middle grade sized font. No, this looked like I have vision problems font.
A large print. A large print book.
I showed it to you. We were freaking camping. That's the one that Sailor read the same day.
Yes.
Yeah, this one I might change because, I mean, it's a 12. I use a 12 font, but because of this particular font, I think it looks bigger. And it just looks big. I'm not sure. I might keep it like that because it's fine. But I don't try to make them longer than they should be. Yeah. I just try to be aware that if I don't meet a certain page number, I have to remember to tell my designer not to get a spine, because they won't.
This one was like 130 pages. So I mean, I think it was to inflate it, but I'd much rather just have them be up front. You know?
Yeah, like my novella ones are like 180, but they look like this.
And the thing is that I don't have a problem buying a 100-page book if I know that's what I'm buying. But you sold me a 100-page book with 130 pages in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't do that. I mean, and I adjust the pricing based on the.
Well, and like you said, maybe she doesn't do it. Maybe she writes books and her husband posts them, or maybe she writes books and her partner posts them, or she has some friend who knows what they're doing. You know, and sometimes people just trust people, right? Like some people really just trust the people they know indiscriminately.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe that's what it was. Maybe someone else was in charge of that.
True.
And then I felt bad because I didn't want to tell her that I didn't enjoy it a great deal.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, you just avoid the topic and don't post the review. That's what I do if I don't enjoy the book.
Wait, I have no clue. I don't know.
No, it's like, I mean, yeah, it was, no, or if they specifically ask me for feedback, I say, it was okay for me, these parts I liked, this didn't work for me. But I start with stuff I liked about the book, if there's anything.
Doing what they
Travis
call
and I are
the
too much
positive
alike.
sandwich.
This is a problem. Travis and I are too much alike, and we went and saw this film that was made like the next town over. It's like 30 minutes away. And the filmmaker comes out, and mind you, I have my shoes in my hand because they've like cut my feet to where they're almost bleeding. I want to go home. I'm half in fucking tears. It's cold and raining. This dude calls my husband over and is like, "What'd you think of the movie?" Well, the movie was shit. So what Travis said was, it was a flick. And that's my concern, is that would be kind of my response. That dude was so mad. Like, so mad. It was like a thing. People talked about it.
About how mad he was?
About how Travis was so rude to that dude by saying it's a flick.
Well, maybe that's how he just is. A movie is a movie. A sandwich is a sandwich.
Well, they asked Travis because Travis was the first one locally to put out a full-length film. So it was pretty awkward. But guess what? They haven't put out any other movies, so apparently he was right.
Probably. No, the thing I see it, I do tend to be a bit kinder to indie authors because I think they are held to standards they shouldn't be held at. Like, people start looking for stuff, and I experienced that with my own books. So in January, I got my rights back. I took the books from my publisher. It was the same freaking book, and I got it a new cover. I changed the acknowledgements where I had to and republished them. But the content of the book, it was the freaking same. It was clearly edited and proofread and whatever. Up until the point it appeared on Amazon as self-published, nobody said anything about the editing. Nobody complained. And mind you, these two books were on bestsellers lists on romance for a while. They did well on Amazon too. They were my two bestsellers. So it wasn't
like you kind of had no idea there was a problem.
There wasn't. I mean, it was in the acceptable limits. I know bigger publisher in the same genre that have way more typos and nobody complains. So the moment
I read a lot of Stephen King, and I've read a lot of Stephen King typos.
Yep. So I take them off.
If anyone can get past them, it should be him.
Yeah. And then I posted them as, re-releases, and all of a sudden there were a few reviews mentioning that, oh, there were some editing issues and there were some typos, and I was like, where the fuck were they until now? Why do they become apparent the moment you see the book is indie? Because I mean, if it hadn't been,
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't think there's an author alive, no matter how many times you edit it, that's gonna have a completely perfect book, be it edit, grammar, words, whatever.
There's an acceptable limit of typos by 10,000 words for the biggest publishers. So
yeah.
Well, and I think that is the issue, is what is the acceptable limit for indie authors? I don't know that everybody knows that. Like, I don't think
be lower than it is for publishers. That's how I see it.
Right, but what I'm saying is that there are people who are like, they don't think that way. Readers who don't think that way. They think, if you really want to be professional, even if you're indie, there should be no typos. Without thinking
and it's kind of like this: if you think you can do it yourself, then do it right.
Yeah.
They wouldn't post the same comment on a ThreadPub.
No.
Because they found some typos.
No.
So I understand that people are weary of indie books and they look for flaws everywhere. I do get that. So I understand it, and I try to be kinder to indie authors. And the way I do it is, if there are an acceptable number of errors, and I compare it to traditional published books that were riddled with typos. Like if I saw typo every 10 pages, that's a lot.
Right.
Or even more than that. So if that traditional publisher, independent or part of a larger corporation, publish that book with that many typos, if an indie author has as many or less, they're fine. That's how I do it. And beyond that, I try to be nice in reviews, like not disingenuous to say this is the greatest book, I loved it, when I didn't. But if it was an okay book, I will start with things I liked and then go to things I didn't enjoy that much. And if it's a really bad book, like if I give it a 1 star or 2 star, I just won't post a review.
Is your threshold a 3?
Yeah, pretty much 3. If it's like
that's how
2.5, if it's 2.5 and I could round up to 3,
yeah,
maybe I'll post it. But if it's 1 or 2, I won't post it because why? Either way, I stopped posting reviews on Amazon because I'm not exactly sure how they define competition.
Yeah, I don't know either.
If they considered all authors as competition, then I can't post reviews anyway. And I feel sad about it because, like I said, I buy a lot of the books from authors I love. And I would like to still be able to review them because they show up as a verified purchase. So it helps. But I'd rather not damage them or me by
or they it could be something as simple as one day they look and their numbers make them look like they have 4 stars average, and then they remove your review the next day and they're down to 2 stars and they feel like shit.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't want to do that to someone either.
So yeah, that's why I decided I'm going to start using Goodreads again this year, and
me too.
maybe do more of the book roundups and the video reviews and stuff like that. The thing is, like, I hate rating based on stars. I really don't like it much because I don't think it's subjective in one way, and I don't think I don't know. It's just I don't particularly enjoy it because you can read a great book that makes you want to throw it out the window because it makes you so mad in a good way. And in the case of a book like that, people would rate it low.
Yeah.
Or if there's anything uncomfortable in the book, that happens every day in real life, but you just don't want to read about it, you're going to rate it low. And that's why I'm not a big fan of star ratings.
I can't remember what her name is, but the lady who wrote The Lovely Bones.
I don't know.
She wrote a book after that was about a woman who basically like puts her mom down when she has like horrible dementia.
Oh God.
And I read the reviews on it, and the reviews on it were just horrible. But I bought the book. Yes, thank you. But I read the reviews on it, and they were horrible. But I was like, it sounds like an interesting premise, and I read it, and it's just really fucking heavy.
Yeah.
Like you're watching this woman's mother go crazy with dementia, and then she kills her, and then has to cope with the fact that she killed her mom to put her mom out of her misery. Like it's really hard to read.
Yeah. It's not a light and happy read. It's not something you're like, oh, I think I'll enjoy this afternoon with a cup of tea.
Yeah, that's just not what it is. So it, you know, like those bad reviews weren't bad reviews. They were reviews of people who were like, I'm depressed now. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And there are people that like hard reads like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, and I like things that do that to me.
I mean, like, I'm a mood reader, so I have periods where I don't want to read anything that's super dark and depressing.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think as long as a book yields powerful emotions within you, it's a good book. It doesn't always have to be happy thoughts.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That I mean,
I always struggle.
I consider putting my mother to sleep.
Right.
Like it was horrible.
I always struggle reading Stephen King's The Stand. Like I really struggle with that book because I get so far into it and it's so intense and I freak out. But that doesn't mean I think it's a bad book. It means that my brain can't handle that.
Oh my God, I just got done
I hate
reading.
to interrupt here, but I have to go. I have a young man who's really waiting to play video games, and I promised him I would. So I'm going to sign off. But I will talk to you all.
Actually,
yeah. We've been for over 12.
Let's go ahead and sign off here. Everybody got kids needing video games and adults needing video games. So, so we'll see you guys all tomorrow morning on Alina's channel, 9 a.m. Central Time, and she will have more sleep. I might or might not. We'll see.
I'll be at work, so y'all have fun.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you there in the morning.
Probably not.
Okay.
I promised the kids we would hang out, so I feel like that's got to take priority.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
That's fine. Alina and I are cooler than you anyway.
Yes. I will be there I'll tell you what, I'll be there in the chat. I'll have it up on my phone and
that's perfect. Thank you for being there. It's not required. Have fun.
But
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
Good
we'll see
night,
you guys
everyone.
tomorrow morning. And have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.